Well, I'm joined now by the Conservative commentator and author Ann Coulter, who's just written a new book, Never Trust a Liberal Over Three, especially a Republican. Ann Coulter, you'll have heard from our report there that a lot of people reckon that Chris Christie is just the man to save the Republicans. You're not so sure?
Well, I was his biggest fan for a long time. I think I was the last right-winger still defending Chris Christie. There were two things that troubled me. One was his speech at the Republican National Convention. I mean, what people love about him, I don't think your report really hit this hard enough, is how charismatic and what a tough talker he is, especially on one of the biggest issues in politics in America right now, and that's government workers' salaries, benefits, and pensions. And that's what made him a national star and why so many Republicans wanted him to run the last election cycle. But then when he gave the keynote speech at the Republican National Convention last summer, all he did was, I mean, it was a really boring speech talking about New Jersey. It was like a State of the State address. I'd flown into Tampa just to see Chris Christie, our street fighter, give what was expected to be the best speech of the convention. It was the worst speech of the convention. And as your report did correctly note, a lot of Republicans cannot forgive him for campaigning with Obama just days before the election. I was willing to overlook that. But when he came out for amnesty, amnesty for illegal aliens, he really tied himself with the plutocrats and the Wall Street end of the country. And that doesn't play so well with the blue-collar workers who are losing their jobs to illegal aliens.
OK, but on that point, though, let's call a spade a spade. The last Republican candidate, Mitt Romney, lost because he couldn't appeal to non-white voters. Chris Christie could, couldn't he?
Well, I think your analysis is incorrect. The two surprises from the last election, well, one is the country has changed demographically since the 1965 Immigration Act. We've been bringing in about 1 million immigrants a year, 90% of them from the third world. The majority of them go on welfare. That's an automatic Democratic voter. That is a big change. That, of course, isn't going to change. But the hidden giant of the 2012 election was elderly black women. The U.S. Census determined this a few weeks after the election. That's something special with Obama. That Obama magic is not going to be there next time. And third, of course, incumbents almost always win, which is why Christie's win. I mean, God bless him. I'm all in favor of Republicans winning, becoming governors in big Democratic blue states. But, and this may mean nothing to your viewers, but George Pataki won as an incumbent of New York State, another liberal state. That did not set him up to run for president.
Do you not accept, though, that he can reach out to immigrants, but also Democrats? And if you look at the polls, he's your best hope of seeing off Hillary Clinton.
I would strongly disagree with that.
What? But the polls say he's the only one who out-polls Hillary Clinton.
18 months before an election, I looked this up one time, every presidential election for the past, say, 3 or 4 election cycles, the ones who were always polling at the top are people who were no one even knew their names 6 months before Election Day. So I wouldn't look at any name recognition polls now. I think in 2008, when George Bush was the candidate, about a year before the election, the one polling highest was Elizabeth Dole.
OK, I'm afraid we've got to leave it there. But Ann Coulter, thank you very much for joining us.